Firing in manual, increase the firing rate, open, bypass on 35-pound regulator. And then when you get some pressure there, you can go ahead and start warming up the casing. So when you get to this point here, you come on over, and it's going to be, this is the suction, this is the exhaust out, and that's the recirc. Just hit all three, okay? You have to have the recirc open. We're in port. This thing was made for 2 boilers at sea. So now if you have some pressure on the 35-pound, suction's open, good. Now you can also warm up the turbine, have the belly drains open, start warming up the casing in the wheel. All right, so that's what we got to do. And we also need one circuit breaker. What's that?
TFP.
Turb FD Pump, prelude pump. Okay, so that should get us in the ballpark. Go ahead and go run, load snapshot, go to, yep, I think you're right. That's it, 23, load snapshot. And the first thing we got to check is the voltage and whether we have a fire. Because if we don't have that, we're not going anywhere. Run IO. And we're looking good. Hit exit. You got it. All right. So now we're in a stable situation. We have voltage, we got fire, we've got 400 psi, we got a water level, we got a little bit of time. We need more, right? So we should send somebody up there to open up the bypass on the 35-pound, say 2 turns.
You want me to send somebody or want me to go?
Oh, that's right, you're the first. Okay, what else can we do? We can close the circuit breaker, get control air on. All right, we know we're going to load up the plant, aren't we? So we're going to have to increase the firing rate. Let's go to manual.
Don't watch him over there.
Go to manual on both of them. Watch your firing pressure, watch your smoke. Bring it up to about 250 psi. I would get the air with it if I was you. Okay, now we're up to about 5, 10. We're up to about 5 psi on the casing. We want to bring this up slow. We don't want water hammer. So what do we do over here on the feed pump? This is the pump. This is the pump. This is the turbine. So let's open up the suction. We'll open up the exhaust so we can warm up the casing. This goes to auxiliary exhaust, right? Mm-hmm. And then we'll open up the recirc. Okay, how's our water? Looks like we're going to need some water, which is why we brought up the firing rate, because what's going to happen to the pressure in the boiler when we give it cold water? It's going to go down. So send somebody up there first to go ahead, and we're going to have to add water, and give me 2 more turns on the auxiliary exhaust makeup while you're there too.
Okay, do you want to do the auxiliary exhaust makeup?
Somebody else can go over to the local control panel for the prelude pump and start the lube oil pump. Because if we're going to warm up the casing, we can warm up the oil while we're circulating.
Local pump running, right?
Yep.
Got that up to like 200, right? Or 100? Not yet. Not yet. What do you have to do?
Okay, pressure's dropping. We added cold water. We loaded up the boiler with 35-pound makeup, right? So how are we going to fix that problem? See, we're dropping. How about we give ourselves another burner and then we watch the smoke. Watch the smoke. Get ready to deal with it. It hasn't lit. Now it's lit.
Right off the second wood? Yeah.
Second burner.
Or second.
Well, it's cold water. That is room temperature DC heater. I mean, it's just sucking up 35 pounds, which is relatively low pressure. What's the saturation supposed to be? What's it going to be? What temperature when it's up to the right pressure? 253. Very good.
At 875?
No. When it's at 35 psi, it'll be 253. We don't have a gauge in the part task trainer. All we have is a temperature. So the casing's warming up. We're doing fine here. We're circulating oil. We have steam on the casing. So what's happening to the oil temperature? It's rising up. You've got to keep an eye on that, because when we get to 100 degrees, we're going to have to cut in some cooling water. Let's see if we can all do this in coordinated fashion and different places, and it's a lot faster. That is for the salinity.
Yeah, buttons.
Yeah. It's supposed to give you a reading on the salinity. Salinity monitor.
This one?
That is the axial position of the rotor on the main turbine.
Oh.
We haven't warmed it up yet. If it's out of position, you could hit one of the diaphragms with a wheel.
What's the temperature at?
That would not be
I'm
good.
looking for, trying to figure out where it is.
You see our pressure's coming back. We're doing good. We got the lube oil circulating. Let's go ahead and cut in 2 more turns on the back pressure makeup, the 35 pound. Okay. A couple more turns.
So when you put the second burner in, do you decrease the fuel?
Whatever it takes.
Where's the back
Depends where you
pressure
start from.
gauge?
What do you watch when you
I'm watching the fuel pressure and I'm watching this. And then I'm going to
The
watch
35 pound
effect
system?
here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this one.
To the one.
This one?
Everybody wants to know, what number do I take it to? Whatever it takes to accomplish what you're doing. Everybody does this at a different rate, you know. Okay, so it looks like he's got that up.
So when that's at 35, then you can open the inlet and close the...
Yeah, when you see that it starts out fully open because the pressure's low, you increase the bypass till you see it throttling. And at that point, you can go ahead and shut one and open the other. We don't have a gauge to look at.
Okay, the pneumatic valve was actuated. We open it up all the way, and then there's like
Oh, it's a diaphragm valve up there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we got that. All right, now let's go ahead, and we're a little high, so we're good. Let's go ahead, we'll cut the bypass out, cut in the regulator on the 35 pound, and we'll add some water while we're at it to buy time, because we're gonna roll the turbine pretty soon. So we gotta do that now, guys.
So somebody, Ross, you going up to the button?
Add water and go on the regulator.
No one's ran in the pump.
Jesus!
Okay, now we should be adding water. I think we are adding water. And that's good because we're above, and it'll come down a little bit now, as you can see. That'll buy us some time. Now, let's go ahead and open the bypass up, whatever it takes to get 200 psi roughly on that turbine discharge. Pump discharge. So now we got 250 PSI on the turbine wheel, or on the pump, and we're warming up the turbine wheel, right? And we're doing good here on the pressure. Still have 2 burners, lots of ways to operate. All right, that's looking good. Our 15 minutes is up, 10 minutes is up. Let's go ahead and shut the bypass, go to remote, unless you've already done it on the pump, and then open up the steam to the throttle, and that's it, then come back.
No, this is we're supplying steam right now to the pump. So now it's on.
We're applying steam to the throttle.
Throttle, sorry, yeah.
First, do we have cooling water on the lube oil yet? No. Okay, we need cooling water. And I'll show you what to do next. Okay, we got that. Let's dip the cooling water on.
Is that which one is that? We have to do
Auxiliary systems. There you go. Top.
Salt water tank?
Yeah. In the center, right there, number 2 feed pump. Salt water cooling. All right. Come on. Do it. All right, get off that screen. Now line up the bypass on the economizer. Line up that valve and the next valve. That's good. Don't go any further. All right, so now we're over here. You have to set the pump up.
Let's get some water in. We're at 3 inches.
I'll get it.
Okay.
I'm going to set the pump up for running. You notice nothing happens yet. I'm going to go ahead and go to automatic on the controller. It takes off. We're getting pressure up. And it's going to hunt because it has nowhere to go. It's 2 blocked. Okay? So now I'm going to match these up. I guess it works better if I do that. Match the 2 needles. And then we're going to go to auto. And open up the mechanical, the motor operated valve. And now it's lined up to main feed. We got 500 and 500. Well, that's not going to work. It's 100 by land, 2 by sea, right? Because you have 2 boilers at sea. So I'm going to bring this up to about there. Way accelerated on me, didn't it? All right. You get the idea. 600 would be nice if I can control it a little better. It's wobbling. All right, so now you've got a turbine feed pump on the line. It's stable. It's got cooling on the oil. Nothing's going to happen bad. And now you can bring up vacuum, because now that you have this, where does the auxiliary exhaust go if it went too high? Where does it relieve to? It has to go to lower pressure. Goes to the main condenser.
Yeah.
Right now the main condenser has how much vacuum? 0.
0.
So the next thing we'd have to do is get vacuum up. And that's how you do it. So now we're going to do it again. So you can. Bye. See you, folks.